guys, I am just going to fill a sketchbook with some observational sketching off of Pinterest, and I am looking at men's outfits right now. So the reason I'm doing this is to practice drawing people in clothes and getting the folds right, and just doing really quick gestural sketches to get the information down. I will be using a pen for this, so I may switch up media, just like because I get annoyed with media a lot when I'm doing these kind of sketches. I'm cleaning my pen off. A lot of times you'll see in drawing pens or any pen that you're using, the tip, a lot of the ink kind of bleeds and bubbles out. That'll fall onto your page. Just take a tissue or like a paper towel or something and clean the tip off whenever you're going to be starting drawing. If you see that it's getting a bit gooey or there's a lot of ink buildup on it, it can drop on the page. It can ruin a sketch if you are, and it can be very frustrating when it does that. So just like clean the tip, and if you see it building up when you're drawing, just again clean it, or you can like roll it on your paper if you don't really care if it's just like a sketch page. Yeah. So you just want to make sure your pen tip is clean. Anyway, I did a drawing video. It was either this morning or, depending on when I post this, yesterday, that I was going over the 3/4 front view, and I got a little bit condescending in the video, I think. I was just getting really frustrated because I see this a lot, and I'm seeing it with people who are trying to teach people to draw, and if you're teaching people the wrong thing, you're hindering their ability, because they're going to have these bad habits that when they go to like actual art school and stuff, they'll have these habits kind of ingrained, and those are really hard to get rid of, and you have to fight yourself and be constantly on top of what you're drawing. So if you give people the right information to go off of in the beginning, then they're less likely to have those bad habits built up. Now, again, there are things like style that can come into play, but these are just general, they were just kind of general things that I catch a lot of beginning artists doing, and it's mostly just because they either haven't been told about structure, or they, like, mostly it's just they haven't really been into a formal art class where they've been corrected, and a lot of times art teachers won't necessarily, like in high school and stuff, they might do art and they might be okay at it, but usually they're not like super advanced. Art might be kind of a side course that they teach. Like, there are some artists, like some teachers, that are super good with art, but then there are just kind of the ones that are pretty mediocre, so they wouldn't be able to correct or catch those mistakes. If you're going into independent art classes from an artist, and you're doing that and they're allowing it, then look at what they do. I went into, when I was in high school, I did extra art classes outside of school, and I had a very good teacher who was, she did realistic portraits, so she really kind of hammered home the like observation skills, and basically breaking down how to break down the human head into its proportions and how to render things properly. So good books will show you how to do that. Again, I was using the book I reviewed last week as an example for what not to do, because it was full of what not to do's. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that and apologize if I sounded a little bit condescending in that video. And if you do those things, and you didn't realize you were doing them, that's okay, because you're learning. And when you're learning, you're gonna make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes because that's how you grow as an artist. So don't feel bad if you realize that you were doing those type of things, because like everyone's got to start somewhere, and now that you're aware of like what not to do, just like try to keep an eye out for it and try to think through when you're drawing. Like a lot of times you can do automatic drawing where you're just kind of sketching and going through, like just trying to get your ideas going and stuff, and if you catch yourself doing that, that's okay. But just remember, like if you're going into doing like a longer study, it's always good to do a few practice, like for really like practice sketches of really good structure. I have a book review coming up, and I suggest one book in it by Andrew Loomis, drawing the head and hands. It will really break down head structure for you. He was a 50s artist, and he's basically a master at art. The book review will be posted later in the week. I might have to redo it. I kind of went over a ton of books in it, and it's a bit much, but, or I'll just put in the description like what to actually buy. Anyway. Yeah, so his head's off proportion. I'm more or less looking at the clothing and stuff, but teeny tiny head. That's so out of proportion. It's hilarious. Anyway, I want cool outfits. When in doubt, go to Japan. If you want really, really amazing fashion trends for men, like to like draw your male characters with some really cool styles, look up Japanese fashion. Like, they are amazing, and you can build a board on Pinterest, as I always suggest. But like, they put shapes together and fabrics and textures and stuff, and they're just like, it's a lot more expressive, I find, and you'll find like a lot of really cool ideas, especially if you want to like design costumes and stuff. A lot of like the fashion trends in Japan, especially if you're looking up like goth culture and stuff, oh my god, they're amazing. Like, I definitely suggest looking up that. Anyway. And I know I've been critical the last few videos. I think it's just I was very frustrated when I did that book review. And very disappointed, actually. And I think that's what frustrates me the most, is that, and why I keep doing these videos on what not to do when you draw. I've done the thing where I've had bad advice, and I've had to kill that, like, a thing in my style, and it is incredibly hard to do. Like, I used to draw everyone basically with their ass out and their chest, so I broke their back, and it was because I was taking drawing advice from someone who I thought knew what they were talking about, and they didn't. So you gotta be really critical on the advice that people are giving. Even if I say something, because sometimes I'll say something and I kind of mean the I have like weird verbal dyslexia, and it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes, like, always try and fact check everything, like usually if something's coming up and it's being repeated in a bunch of art books that you have or by different teachers and stuff, it's usually correct. But there are always rare cases where no, it's not correct. Anyway, but I try and give you guys the best information I can, and like things that I've learned and like tips and tricks that have helped me become the artist I am. So like not everything I say may work for you as well, because different people break down information in unique ways, right? Like I may break down the form in geometric shapes, whereas you might use more like linear breakdowns and stuff like that. Like it doesn't matter if you don't break down an image the same way as someone else, as long as your end result is proportionally correct and works. Oh dear. Okay. This will be the last drawing, so you guys don't have to sit here any longer. Bananas. Anyway. Oh, and I posted a 7-year, either earlier today or yesterday, depending on when I post this video, 7-year sketchbook tour. So you get to see my sketchbooks from 2007 till 2014. There's some pretty crazy stuff in there, some smut, and you get to see the progression of my art. I will show you guys, when I find the books, my high school stuff, and then I'll do like a 2015 till 2018 when I get a sketchbook done for 2018. I can't review this sketchbook just because of the amount of smut that is in it. It happens. Yeah. Anyway. Oh well. Anyways, this is done. A couple more lines on the page, and the foot is back here, so you can see that. And the jawline, and the hairline, and then there's that, and there's that. Yeah. Okay, so here's sketch page. Let's give some tone to this. Give it a little bit more shape. Okay. I'm gonna fill a couple more little sketches in here just because I can. But generally, that's just a study page of like how folds are falling in fabric and stuff. Now, when you're drawing folds and you're like referencing it and there's a ton of folds, look for the mass shapes in the folds and don't get too stuck on all the minor details, because if you're drawing something like chiffon, there will be like 1,000 folds in it. So just like break down the mass shapes and then do some minor details, and you usually will be able to describe the fabric pretty well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour. And I'm sorry for being a bit of a bitch when I was frustrated over people drawing 3/4 view wrong. Anyways, I'll chat about you guys later. Bye-bye.